You look at these Gen Zs, okay? They are not people who stick to rules and regulations. They just want to do their thing.
My office assistant was just 19. He was very, very sweet. They make it clear from the onset if they are not going to get the job done. So it saves you time and stress.
We've given them a voice. Their opinions matter. When you shut them down, they shut out and they leave.
Yes.
They don't take instructions. They want to work with you.
Won't that lead to anarchy?
So you must manage that energy.
Before you can manage it, Gen Z, you also must be updated.
Oh yeah. I remember they're tech savvy. So the millennials grew into knowledge. These people grew up with knowledge.
Have this conversation with them. Unlike millennials will tell you, oh, I will do everything.
Does an organization need to have an agreement with Gen Zs? Good day. Welcome to HRTV. This is the online channel that deals with issues, matters, and practitioners of human resource and business management in Nigeria. Before we go further, please do not forget to like, share, and actually contribute to discussions on this program. With me today, I've got guests. Thank you so much for coming. I've got Adiola. And I've also got Oyebisi. Adiola is a seasoned banker, and she's going to be, exchanging views and opinions on certain issues and matters relating to that industry. Oyebisi has been a seasoned administrator. Thank you. Welcome. And
Thank you.
She's been with. Remind me again. You were with.
Yes, I was with the National Institute of Credit Administration as the academic administrator
Thank you very much.
before I moved to the new organization where I am.
And Adiola, she spent several years with Access Bank.
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Okay, so I'm going to start with you, actually, Adiola. Okay, so now, banking in Nigeria. Can you share with us what your experiences have been?
I'll say banking in Nigeria affords you an opportunity to grow yourself across different sectors, gives you the ability to garner knowledge as you relate with people that operate in different sectors, because we have customers that span across the different industries in the society. In banking, it can be challenging, but the core of it is relationship management. So managing your internal clients, who are your colleagues, and external clients, who are the ones that bring value to the bank. So I'd say it's one of the most profitable and one of the most rewarding systems to work with in the country.
Taking into consideration some things that are happening in this country now, I don't know how many Nigerians would agree with you that banking is rewarding.
Oh yes,
it's
it is.
Probably rewarding to the owners of the banks, stakeholders, but for customers, I'm sure they will have another story to tell.
Well, I'd say that there are customers who still get their yields. The banking system is still the system that gives facilities, provide gaps and bridging the gaps, in financial needs. So you still need the banking system. Yes, there are the customer service issues and all, but at the end of the day, where do you go when you require funding? Where do you go to put your money to save it, to keep it, in a safe place? Where do you get your yields on investments? Safest place to put your monies at the banks.
Okay, so now let me talk to you.
Okay.
Do you have something to say to, I'm sure you are a customer in the bank.
Yes, I am.
How would you rate Nigerian banks?
Well, honestly speaking, over the years, the Nigerian bank has evolved. Now we are safer.
Yeah.
We can move around now without the fear of being robbed or being attacked. Gone are those days where you have to put a lot of funds in your house because there's no ATM, there's no app to make payments. You need to get things done and all of that. So they have really evolved in terms of technology. Although, you can't take off issues between us, the customers and the bank. And I think the issues are relatable. I think it boils down to the new introduction of technology into the system. There are a lot of itches here and there, sometimes debits, wrong debit alerts, and all of that, which I feel with time it could get better. I feel it could get better.
Okay, now you see technology works in different ways. We read in the news recently where they said a staff of a particular bank who was saddled with the responsibility of making some transactions,
Reversals.
and all that, went away with billions.
That wasn't a technology issue.
What was that?
That was a control issue.
Mm-hmm.
Human issue. Every process in the bank involves checks and balancing, right? So every process has a maker and a checker. And if for any reason there are gaps and someone is able to exploit those gaps, then they can take advantage of processes. Now, technology is garbage in, garbage out. You put in the information and then it gives you the feedback.
Sure.
So the systems worked perfectly. However, the maker-checker process, this person was the final approver from what I understand, based on my understanding, and he was given more authority and power than he was supposed to have. So he was able to circumvent the process and siphon funds. So it's not a technology issue.
Okay, now we are looking at people issues.
Yes.
Everywhere in Nigeria, we have people issues.
Yes.
Do you understand? Every facet of our lives.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What could the bank have done differently, for example?
Okay.
Instance.
Okay, so if I'm right, the unit that deals with reversals of transaction is an IT solution issue, right? That has to do with the ATM cards and refunds and complaint management. However, this unit is supposed to be audited as often as possible. So there's the internal control and internal audit unit of the bank that's supposed to come and check every process. I can't speak to it because I'm not on the inside and I don't know how it went on, but something must have failed in that process. If the checks had been done the way they were supposed to have been done, there is no way you will not it because it has to do with transactions that were supposed to have been reversed into particular customers' accounts, not going. Somebody's supposed to have reviewed that process.
Okay, that's for the reversals.
Mm-hmm.
We also had instances where people in one way or the other. There was also this bank that they said the entire IT department jackpot. You understand? I know we all know what that means.
Yes.
And it left the bank almost open to almost all kinds of corruption. Not what is it corruption now that I'm going to call
exposure to fraud,
yeah, and so many
and sabotage, really, at the end of the day.
And that actually eroded customer confidence in the banking industry. So how are the banks handling it now?
I'd say that if you notice constantly, I don't know whether you get all the notifications from your bank. Constantly now you see maintenance ongoing. You see notification from your bank that they're working on their systems and all. I think a lot of banks are taking up upgrades. And the kind of system we operate in, and the world we operate in where there's constant disruption and evolving processes in technology, we have those guys who try to sabotage and take advantage, hackers really. So every bank, I think, what's going on now is they're constantly rejigging their systems. You see the time where the CBN said all the switches should be taken out. That's the pay stack and, because those were now ways by which these guys were infiltrating the system. So the CBN, the regulators, the banks are all trying to put processes in place to create a safe operating environment. And they're constantly educating us. Every bank now has a cybersecurity framework. Mm-hmm. Yes, we just concluded it. Every bank, the framework. And then there's this quarterly process where you check your security system now. So I think we operate in the interest of the people that we bank. The customer is king. So I will speak for my people generally, the banking system. We're trying to be better. We're trying to create safer systems, and we'll continue to evolve to protect the customers we serve.
Now, when we look at all these issues and challenges that we have with the banking sector, and not just the banking sector, in almost all spheres of business in Nigeria, the human factor is always there. a whole lot of organizations are having issues now. We don't even want to look at the Chapa syndrome. How, for example, how has that affected your business? You know, the banking sector.
The banking sector took a major hit, when Japa syndrome commenced, and they said there were some classes abroad where everybody were even all
Nigerians,
and it left huge gaps. People that had imbibed the culture, left, and there was no adequate time to put in successors to fill those spaces. So what you're saying is people are stressed, overworked, overwhelmed, trying to manage multiple customers at the same time while still trying to give value. So it's impacted negatively. And imbibing the culture in a new set of people, the Gen Zs, is not as easy because they have a different mindset, different expectations, and we all now have to build new structures around them to make them want to stay on the job, because banking typically in Nigeria is not banking abroad.
Definitely.
Yes.
Now, when you mentioned Gen Zs, we'll actually come to them because that's a new ball game entirely.
Yes.
You understand?
They are the people out there.
They are the ones out there now. But a whole lot of organizations are finding it difficult to engage with these Gen Zs.
Totally.
OABC, you've been in the training sector, and you've also, I'm sure you've interacted, you've engaged, you've mixed with these Gen Zs. How do you handle them?
Okay, I'll say first and foremost that over the years working with staff, they are the category of staff that I enjoy the most.
Really?
Yes.
A whole lot of
I
people
know
won't
it's
agree with
that
that.
thought, but I say it all the time. It just takes, they're different, their mindsets are different. Just like Adiola said, the way they reason is different. It's not the old way. Let's be realistic. We millennials just accepted what we were cultured to do. We were not comfortable with it. That's the truth. It was more of slave masterism over back then, where you have to do what you're asked to do without asking a question. We have to understand that it's a new world right now. So for the Gen Zs, what I've discovered is they get the job done quickly. What they just need you to do is be direct. Tell them what you want them to do on the job. They are very creative. They are very fast. They are very smart.
Seriously? All
Yes.
of them? All the time?
Yes, although they have their shortcomings. So this is it. Unlike we millennials, that because of the home trainings that we had, or because of we were brought up, there were some things that we already have imbibed in us, which is called initiative.
Yeah.
So many of them don't rely on the fact that you think they should take initiatives. Just write it in pen and paper, make it as clear as possible. That boils down to the onboarding process. It's very, very important. Don't just assume that they will do the job. Have this conversation with them. Oftentimes they will tell you if they can do the job. Unlike millennials will tell you, oh, I will do everything. I have worked with older people as old as 60. I've also worked with younger people as young as 19. When I was at the College of Health Tech, my office assistant was just 19. He was very, very smart. They make it clear from the onset if they are not going to get the job done. So it saves you time and stress. Unlike how doctors say, oh, I will figure it out, all this.
And then they now don't know
They
the
don't-
modalities of getting the job, and they don't want to ask you.
But then again, you look at these Gen Zs, okay? They are not probably your run-of-the-mill people who stick to rules and regulations, who obey policies and procedures, and they just want to do their thing. Is that really? And organizations are finding that difficult to accept.
Well, I don't believe that they just want to do their things. Maybe I'll be the advocate today.
They're opinionated.
Yes, they have their opinion.
And
but
I think we all need to work on those policies. The policies we have were built for millennials.
thank you.
You need to rejig your policy. You said something earlier. You need to bring them in. They need to work with you in formulating the new policies. Policies that take into cognizance the fact that there are a whole new set of people who have a voice.
Okay.
We've given them a voice. Their opinions matter. When you shut them down, they shut out and they
That's
leave.
it. Yes.
They don't take instructions. They want to work with you.
Won't that lead to anarchy? or
No,
kind
not
of-
necessarily.
Because if for example, as an HR practitioner, you come into the workspace and you want to dominate, you want your voice. It's one thing for your voices to be heard, but in hearing your voices, you should also make room for the fact that your voices don't necessarily mean the most how am I going to put it? The most.
Must not always be heard.
It's not just
But
not
doesn't
be
it-
hard.
don't- it's not
It's
actually-
not that it's the best thing. It's in the best interest of the organization.
Okay, so I'll say something. I've also had to work with some of them, and these are some of my deductions. Yes, you listen to them, give them space to talk. So you give them a boardroom space, then you let them know your point is valid, it's welcome. But if we take that point and we work with it, we'll not be able to get this end result. So you now have to create an understanding, but they want to be heard.
Okay.
So you must manage that energy. They're very, I don't know how to, there's so much going on the inside of them.
They're
Their
very hyper.
ideas. I remember they're tech savvy. So, you
Very,
know,
very.
the millennials grew into knowledge. These people grew up with knowledge. What took us so many years to learn, they already know. So they're exposed. They're seeing all of that. So there's so much. And I say that you even learn from them. So we think we know. But when you listen to some of their ideas, those ideas will cut your processes in half.
Exactly, because technology, they are
Yes.
more tech savvy.
Yes.
And it is their generation.
So I've
They-
learned to welcome those ideas. Then we sit down because they want to be included. Inclusiveness is very important to them. Don't give me instructions. Let's work together.
okay.
So can we check the other side of the coin? Let's not erase the fact that, of course, in every set of humans, there are the negative ones.
Yes.
Exactly.
So you must be able to, and that's why, or that's where we millennials need to, or we that are older need to be smart. We must improve. So I think that's one of the things we're struggling with. Before you can manage a Gen Z, you also must be updated.
Oh, yes.
That's the word. So it is when you're updated that you engage in very intelligent conversation.
Conversations with us.
You will be able to detect if this person is a positive one that is aligned with the
value.
organization,
Or the toxic one.
But from the onset, what I like about them is from the onset, if you get your onboarding process right, you would have known. They will make it clear to you that, look, we won't be able to work together.
So bottom line, what we need to do is create an enabling environment
Fantastic.
for them to function. But then again, we must also let them know that, hey, the fact that you have this, we hear you, we have, doesn't mean that everything that you are bringing into the table
Exactly.
will
No,
be
there'll be
done.
policies.
You
You
There'll be
understand?
policies.
Yes.
They need to, because we have had instances in my own experience where you change some policies in the best interest of the organization, and they believe that, no, it's going to hamper my freedom.
Well,
Quote and unquote.
what makes you, I want to ask a question now. What
Okay.
makes you think is in the best interest of the organization? Have you had a conversation with them? Was there an
Often.
agreement? Was it discussion?
Okay, does an organization need to have an agreement with Gen Zs?
You need to
before
constantly come to the table.
Conversation. There's something
hear
called
that?
now.
So we're in an environment. See, the world around us is evolving.
Okay.
You don't want to be left behind.
Mm-hmm.
In short, in business, in every sphere, even the economy is evolving. So you have to continually and constantly review your policies, your processes, so that you're not in 2023 when everybody's working towards 2025.
The way we are going, the way you ladies are discussing right now, I'm seeing a situation whereby in the next 5 years, the people that would be engaged or employed in organizations will be probably in their 30s.
Oh yes,
Definitely.
So what happens to the
older
millennials?
top management.
Yeah, they blend in. They update themselves.
Top
They blend in.
management.
They
It's happening
update,
already.
they upgrade.
Yes.
You understand?
They need to upgrade. They need to be updated. That's the first thing. Updated to the latest technology trends. First, they need to be aware. For them.
Please, while we are still at
blend in.
this, do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel. Thank you.
So for them to blend in, they really need to be updated. If not, they won't be able to catch up.
Because I'd also say that recently what I've observed is what we have is structural unemployment. So we're trying to fit people into roles, and it's not working, like you said, because we are trying to fit them into existing roles, even academics now. So people don't go and study economics. People don't go and study accounting. Now they do project management, industrial something. Now everything is changing. Nobody wants to be tied to one verse subject. They want to be in a particular niche. So things are changing generally.
Yeah, even universities are changing their curriculum.
Yeah.
Lucy should be able to talk about that.
Oh,
Yes.
So it's changing.
Speaking about that, I remember when I joined the College of EdTech, because there's a national curriculum for the College of EdTech. We found that a lot of the curriculums are outdated. So I had to come develop some curriculums that will help the students learn, because a lot of the courses are not even in trend. Imagine in computer science, for instance, which is one of their added courses, they ask a student to study mainframe computer.
Whoa.
In what age?
Mainframe.
What use?
I said, no, my students are not going to study this.
In what age?
So I had to sit down.
Is it history class?
Restructure it. No, it's supposed to be computer. So computer is supposed to be added knowledge for a student of College of EdTech, so much that they will be updated technologically.
Medical records and so many other things like that.
These records and all that. So I had to work on it and make
Mainframe.
sure it's in sync. So
that was
that's
in
what most of our
70s
policies
I
are.
really
Most of our
don't want
policies
to-
are mainframe. Let's look at it.
of mainframe 8.
Yes.
if you want to
Continue.
succeed as a school
Continue learning.
leader, even up to postgraduate school and all of that, you have to put in some courses that will make your students updated. But if you want to rely on the Nigerian educational system, the curriculum.
Okay, now,
Yeah.
now Adiola, I was gonna ask you a question.
Okay.
Now, with the highly eroded capacity of Nigerians to buy, to do so many things,
Yeah.
how does your industry thrive? You are in the microfinance business now.
Yes, I am. And our work, our duty, our major objective is financial inclusion.
Okay.
So we deal with people at the grassroots level, rural areas, encourage them to have accounts. Our major function is to encourage as many people as possible to come into the banking space and run accounts. And how we do that is we give the saving and the lending opportunity. So we bridge financing gaps. So I'd say that we primarily, there.
The local
to take care
governments
of
of
this.
banking.
Yes, to take care of the situation you're seeing in our economy now. And we're playing a major role. The microfinance space is doing a beautiful job because for us, you don't have to have had a banking history to take a loan.
Really.
For us, we look at you as an individual. We look at your business. We look at your capacity. We can manually evaluate you. Then we work with you as an individual. We grow your business. That's what we do. We deal with small businesses, MSMEs, and we help them grow their businesses, help them grow a track record, and then give them an opportunity. So we're right there, right in the center.
Okay, we have I don't know what you call it in your industry. We have some online platforms,
Those are loan sharks, lending platforms.
lending platforms
Yeah,
that some of them have been said to be foreign.
yeah.
They are not Nigerian originated. They are probably not even running
They're just
Nigeria.
fintech companies.
Fintech companies. So how do they compete? How do you compete with them?
Oh, well, I'd say that I do organic banking. So those guys use algorithms to profile customers. They grant them a loan at a huge rate because of the risk inherent. And those loans are really fast and all. But I go out to meet these customers. I go to the market. I foster a relationship. Now, there's something about creating a relationship. The person takes you as one of their own and becomes very comfortable with you because you have gone to meet them. There's a kind of friendship you're granting them. And if you're able to deliver, they will now start to do the referrals. So in as much as people go to the online platforms to borrow, it can be a one-time experience.
Okay.
But for me, it becomes a relationship.
Lifetime
A
relationship.
lifetime experience. And that person will refer more people. So I am able to build on the back of those relationships. So that's it. It's an
Is it-
experience for me.
Oh, beautiful. Now, I want to ask a question, really, because there's this, I don't know whether to call it misconception or something, that Nigerians do not pay loans. Do we pay loans back?
Oh, yes. People pay loans.
What percent, let's say, what percentage of your loans?
It's small. Why? Because it's customer profiling.
Okay.
And it also has to do with your understanding of the space you play in. Now, looking at the economic situation in the country, it's not every customer that is indebted that does not want to pay. There are circumstances and situations that make it difficult for people to pay. Change in financial realities. People, you have stock in your shop, people are not buying. How are you going to pay? Or you suffer a loss. Now, in that instance, it is the role and function of the bank, yes, to come to you, to discuss with you and try to find a way around it. I'm not saying the bad eggs are not there. Oh my God, they're the bad eggs. But I see that in most situations, people are just not educated enough to know how to handle such realities. What we do in most instances is to now realign their repayments with current financial realities. And in that instance, it has to move smoothly. Now, for the other and very small group of people that believe that every type of money is government money or is free money, you have to have your primary and secondary way out, which is your collateral and your comfort to try to recover. It's not easy. Sometimes you don't get it back, but in some instances, you're able to make recoveries. So it's a win-win with few hitches.
All right. So my next question goes to Adela, really.
Okay.
What motivated your, decision to go into banking?
Well, I'm a relationship management person. I see myself as a creative mind. So.
Okay, sorry. Before that, before going to banking, were you into something else?
No, I graduated as a mass communication person. I wanted to do advertising, but at that time it wasn't a thriving space. So I saw the next best alternative, which was banking, which still afforded me an opportunity to meet people, relate with people, manage them. So instead of managing briefs and presenting briefs and getting contracts in boardrooms, I was then managing marketing services, marketing banking products, and still winning the accounts.
And still making money.
Yeah, so it's more or less still the same thing. I'm still doing the same thing I've always wanted to do.
A whole lot of people believe that, bankers are just out there to make money. They are not anybody's, as long as they make money.
No, I'm passionate about the space.
A lot of people don't really like bankers, do you know?
Really?
Yeah.
We're very wonderful people, oh.
Really?
Yeah. We make you feel good. We give you advice. I believe that as a banker, you must be able to manage somebody so much so that you're part of their everyday life.
Okay, do you agree with that?
Well, she's speaking from her own perspective. Bankers are not my friend.
Really?
Yes, because
which bankers?
Well, let me say banks are
my.
not my friend.
Okay.
Because a lot of charges here and there, maintenance charges. Sometimes they hold on to your money.
That's what the CBN do.
Well, I don't know. Maybe customers just assume that you are the ones taking our money.
But then again, I read your bio and I saw that you left the banking space.
Yes,
so
I
you
did.
see, she's a banker. So this is see now.
Well, fashion pushed me out. I wouldn't say there's anything wrong with working in the bank, but I have huge passion for impacting lives.
Okay.
I found I never really liked the education sector initially. But I found that I want to impact life everywhere I go, and there's this fulfillment that comes after it.
Okay.
And like Adiola said, educational sector happened to be the easiest way to impact life. So I started from the nursery in now to postgraduate school before I started now for working for the non-profit. So it's all about impacting life, changing lives, influencing people, getting people better, making them see another approach to life. So in summary, I just believe that the answer lies within. Within you, there are answers to life. You don't need to be told. So my own job, as someone that impacts life, is to bring out that potential.
Okay.
So are you seeing something here? Are you seeing something here? When I talked about what drove me, I talked about relationship management, getting... So you see that she's a banker through and through. The same quality.
But
the same quality.
Now, there's something trending online, you understand, which I would like you to speak to.
Okay.
They say over 90% of employees, engaged by banks are usually contract staff.
True.
Why? Why?
Okay, so in every business, you must have a structure that helps you manage costs and
Okay.
help you manage profit. And I'll tell you that the cost of running a bank is really high because if you think of the infrastructure, the people, all that goes into it. So what banks typically do is they try to bring down their cost as much as possible, cost management. So for functions such as drivers, for functions such as clerical staff, administrative staff, operation staff, they employ true consultants, contract staff. So they're not their direct staff. They take them through consultancy agencies who then second these people to take up those roles and functions they've been trained for by those
Okay.
consultancy
But
organizations.
when you look at the disparity between this contract staff and permanent staff, this disparity is so high in pay, in remuneration, in benefits, in all other, specs of working in the bank. The contract staff don't get that.
Okay, so
Yes.
I'd like to defend the banks in this regard.
Okay.
A contract staff is a clerical staff, right? A secretarial staff or a driver, and you have a professional staff
But
who
you
takes
have,
on.
sorry, let me cut it.
Yeah.
We have, they are going up right now. You've seen banking officers, some of them, you understand, tellers, relationship.
They remain tellers. They remain tellers. So that's what I'm trying to tell you. They remain teller. A teller is a teller. Worst case, she moves to customer service, right? But they remain in the clerical because there's a level of responsibility you give to somebody. So I tell you, a full-time staff of the bank takes up the responsibility of bringing in customers,
Okay.
bringing in deposits. So you're going out there representing the bank. You are the brand. You embody the brand. You embody the vision and the mission of the bank. You carry the core values of that bank on your shoulder. So when people see you, they see the bank, they see the brand. You are the representative. Also, when there's a loss, you take out of it. Now you're expected to grow in rank. So that's why you start as an ET, become a branch, and then you grow in ranks. You'll continue delivering and you are appraised by that bank. Contract staffs are not appraised. They are appraised by their own organization. And that's what I was trying to explain to you. They don't even have the bank's offer letter. They have the offer letter from their
Of the
consultancy
consulting
agency.
firm.
Yes.
Yes, I
Their
know.
payments are made to the consultancy agencies.
Okay.
The banks
But
remit.
then, okay, let me ask this. But then again, it's not all these KDL clerical staff that are outsourced. Do you understand?
Okay.
Some of them, by virtue of one job title or the other, do you understand, still on the same level, but they are permanent staff. They will earn almost double what the contract staff is earning.
Because their responsibility is different.
What's the most important thing in a banking sector? Is it fund?
Relationship management. Now the banks invest in their
How do you
staff.
manage the relationship if
Okay.
the people who bring in this relationship, first of all, the customers, the people who bring in the customers, they bring them in, and before the relationship starts, for others.
No, who brings
to
them
manage.
in?
Yes,
Who?
we have.
No, okay, I think I know the people you're talking about. We have direct sales agents.
Okay.
Now, those are direct sales agents. They're different. Now, that's
What's
an
the difference?
arrangement that at a point in time in the banking industry, there was a need to generate accounts, funds, and increase customer base and market share. Now, so some banks adopted the style of bringing in people, a group of people who they will say, go and open accounts.
Okay.
And bring them to the bank. Just go and open accounts. You have to
If
open
those people don't
50
bring in
accounts.
their accounts, where are these?
Now I'm going to tell you something. You know, you can onboard,
onboard.
like you said, you can supposedly onboard somebody and that person will not bank with you. You can open an account. The person just opens the account out of emotional or out of fact that
Somebody's
you
pressuring you.
Yeah.
and then they put 1,000 naira there and that's it.
But the problem that we have, what we are trying to address here, is the fact that these people, they are earning, their take home is not even enough to take them home.
But they have
What is
bonuses. Are you aware? So if you meet, so I'm also aware that some banks tie particular bonuses to particular achievements. So if you're able to meet the target outside of your pay, there are bonuses these people get. So you see people who have come in as NC graduates, who are contract staff, go to school, maybe open university, graduate and come in as full staff. So I've seen instances, I've seen stories, I've seen testimonies.
We have also been, involved with organizations that use this outsourced channel as the entry level into the banks. You understand? Maybe as direct sales agents or other, job positions. They know that, if you want to enter the marketing department of this bank, you have to go through the DSA process. You must have spent at least a year or so, such that you would have, through that time, you would have understood the rudiments, you would have known what the bank is all about, the culture, the ethics.
But there's a lot more when it comes to policy, because they say when there's so I learned something. So when there are ethical, bloodlines around ethics, you work with policy. Now I tell you that most of these banks run an entry system that's worked with them for years. They have training schools where they imbibe you with not just the physical and the everyday know-how, but emotional intelligence, people management, financial knowledge, and all of that. So yes, you can be on the job. And I said they're bankers and they're bankers. You can be on the job, do that job every day, but you can have your shortcomings. And there's that rounded individual who has gone through a rigorous process, has now been put on the job, and is exposed to a lot more, because there's that much you can expose a contract staff to. They are not exposed to everything. There are those things that they are not allowed to touch or handle in the bank for control reasons. So you cannot just convert a contract staff to, the person must still, I know that person must still go to the training school. You must still go through the training.
No, I don't think they send all these outsourced staff to training school.
So if you don't go to training school, you learn maybe like
on the job.
So you walk out of different units. So you do the operation, marketing, and then they now decide on what to
those are the people that are working through do you understand, the real permanent staff structure, the process.
Yes.
Starts from another, you understand?
Yes.
Starts from another level.
Yes.
Because the contract staff and the permanent staff, the structures and the processes are different.
Now, for my former place of work, they even created a system where if you worked with the bank for long enough as a contract staff, you start to get some benefits. It was introduced at a point where you've given time and everything, they start to give you certain benefits because of the time, the longevity of time you spent with them. So I think they're human. There's blood in the veins. Sometimes you take business decisions, but then when you see somebody who's been dedicated to the business and to the job, you look for a way to buffer. So it's easy to say 90%. However, let's look at the structure and let's look at what policies and what if they start to give all these benefits, when they start to pass the charges to the customers, whether the customers will like it, because we bankers are your friends.
No.
Oh.
That's a subject for another. Thank you so much, Oyebisi and Adiola. It's been wonderful having you on this program. So thank you so much for joining us on this episode of HRCV. Do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel, where we, at all times, will give you quality content in the areas of human resource and business management. Thank you so much, and see you around soon.